Billy Graham, one of the most influential evangelists of the 20th century, is often remembered for his monumental sermons, televised crusades, and his unwavering faith. But what many don't know are the stranger, lesser-known facts that made his life even more fascinating. Born in 1918 in Charlotte, North Carolina, Billy Graham grew up on a dairy farm, far removed from the political and spiritual power he would one day wield. Though his rise to global renown seemed inevitable in hindsight, at one point in his life, he was rejected from a youth group for being too worldly, with a reportedly loud voice and poor manners. That same young man would go on to preach to more than 210 million people in person, more than anyone in history, yet remained humble, often deflecting praise and insisting that God, not he, was the true source of inspiration behind every crusade. One of the most unexpected facts about Billy Graham is how deeply he influenced U.S. presidents. Known as the pastor to the presidents, Graham provided personal counsel and prayer to every sitting president. From Harry Truman to Barack Obama, even presidents who didn't share Graham's conservative Christian beliefs admired him for his compassion, wit, and unwavering integrity. Yet, despite this closeness, Graham made it a rule not to align himself with any political party or agenda, believing that his calling was spiritual, not political. However, his close relationship with Richard Nixon stands out as a more complex chapter in his life, especially when private Oval Office recordings later revealed Nixon's offensive comments that shocked Graham when they became public and forced him into painful personal reflection. Beyond his mainstream public image, another strange fact is that Billy Graham was once the focus of a wild conspiracy theory involving the Illuminati. Due to the reach of his ministry and his ties with world leaders, some speculators allege that Graham was secretly linked to a global elite with a hidden agenda. Though there was never any evidence to support such claims, the theories persisted in fringe groups online, showing just how far-reaching yet misunderstood his influence really was. Billy Graham was also one of the earliest and most prominent white Southern Christian leaders to oppose racial segregation openly. During the Civil Rights era, he insisted on integrated seating at his crusades and even personally removed the ropes dividing black and white attendees at a 1953 event in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He also became friends with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., inviting him to pray at one of his crusades, an act that angered many white churchgoers at the time. Yet Graham stood firm, saying, "The ground at the foot of the cross is level." Despite this, some activists later criticized him for not doing more politically during the civil rights movement, a critique that would follow him for decades. A final, strange but fascinating detail is that Billy Graham was terrified of flying in spite of the fact that he traveled the world for more than 50 years to preach the gospel. His fear made every international crusade a personal act of faith. He often prayed during turbulence not only for safety but for calmness of mind. Still, nothing stopped him from reaching millions, whether in London, Seoul, Moscow, or New York City, proving that his mission was always bigger than his fear. As Billy Graham aged, he battled Parkinson's disease and withdrew from public life, but maintained his spiritual resilience until his passing at age 99. Far from a one-dimensional religious figure, Billy Graham was a complex man of contradictions, courage, doubts, and deep conviction. His life was filled with unusual, surprising moments, many forgotten in the shadow of his enormous legacy, but each contributing to the story of a man who shaped history not with power, but with faith and an unwavering belief in the power of prayer.